Hi, this is PJ McClure, the Mindset Maven, and I wanted to come to you and bring you a video post today because the subject for today I tried to write and I just couldn't get across what I wanted to say or maybe how I wanted to say it in written words. So I wanted to be able to talk to you face to face, eye to eye, and really do my best to get across what it is that I want to talk about. There was a reply to a post that I had last week. And the post itself, the article, to give you the gist of it, was about the fact that you don't need to have ultimate faith in what you're trying to do in order to achieve amazing results. Okay, the specific verbiage was limited faith can help you achieve unlimited results. And to break it down to a gold nugget, a nutshell, and I'll put the link to the article at the bottom underneath this video so you can go read the whole thing yourself. But the whole basis of the article was that if you're at the base of a mountain and you're staring at the top, and that mountain is what you want to conquer, okay, metaphorically or physically, however you want to think about it. If getting to the top is what you really want, you desire it, but you're standing at the bottom looking all the way up there at the top and you're going, I don't know if I can do it. I don't really believe. I don't necessarily have the faith that I can get all the way to the top. Maybe I've never done anything like that before. And my point was, you don't need to have faith that you can go all the way to the top when you're standing at the bottom. What you need the faith to do is to take that first step, one step at a time. I don't care how high the mountain is, it's still just climbed one step at a time. And it only requires that faith to move one step at a time. And in doing that, taking each one of those steps, our faith builds, we get closer, and eventually that one step that we have the faith we can take is the one that puts us on top. Okay, that's the crux of the article. And again, you can go read the whole thing yourself and see where it comes from. But there was a comment that came from it that just made my heart ache. My heart went out to this person because, one, they had the guts to go ahead and write what was on their mind and on their heart. And I love that because I know it's on the heart of so many others as well. I hear it in private coaching and in mentoring with, we're talking high-level executives, multi-million-dollar business owners. It's the same thing. It just varies a little bit from person to person, but the overall thought of it was the exact same, and I wanted to bring it to you, my answer, my response to it, in hopes to help you understand better where I'm coming from and see if you relate to the same way that this person feels. Okay, so I'm going to read it to you real quick, and I'm going to paraphrase just a couple of parts. It says, on some level, I can certainly agree. I am just wondering if it holds true. After all, if a person doesn't believe that he or she can make it to the top, why bother to even take the first step? Unless the craving for being at the top and the belief that it is possible is much stronger than the fear of any obstacle or taking each step is a great pleasure, how can it work? Isn't faith always necessary if things get scary or unpleasant or difficult? If something is fun, we don't need faith, do we? Now I want to take this in just a few parts and maybe even just a little bit backwards. The first thing that I want to address is the question and what is intimated in it whenever this person talks about the craving for being at the top and the belief that and having to have the belief that it is possible, and that belief becoming or being stronger than any fear or obstacle. First of all, no, we don't have to. Okay, if I'm at the base of the mountain and I want to climb that sucker and I don't believe that I can go all the way to the top, first of all, I don't even know what all the obstacles are. Standing at the bottom, the obstacle is the entire mountain. Okay, I have to be able to break that down. I have to be able to move forward. I have to be able to call whatever my fear is by name so that I can establish what's going on. Because here's a simple fact. Fear and belief cannot exist at the same time. Fear is the absence of belief. Fear exists outside of what it is we're getting ready to do. If we're in the moment and we're fearful, it means we don't believe. If we're in the moment and we believe, we're not fearful. Try it yourself. See if it rings true. Okay? Fear is the absence of belief. So they do not exist in the same place at the same time. I can believe in what I'm getting ready to do and be fearful of what's out in the future, My choice at that point, though, is to decide which one I'm going to focus on. Am I going to focus on this fear that's out here, that isn't real at this point, that isn't a part of what I'm doing? Or am I going to focus on operating in the belief that I do have right now and make a move forward? Which one am I going to tackle? Which one am I going to be a part of? So no, you don't have to have belief so big that it conquers every fear. In fact, any belief at all will conquer the fear of what it corresponds with. If I have fear of that first step, I don't believe I can take that first step. If I believe I can take the first step, I don't have fear of it and there's nothing to conquer. I move. That's the difference between that. So it's a perspective thing of understanding, yes, belief and fear can exist at the same time, but not in the same place. Okay, fear, step number 20. Believe, step number 1. Which one are you going to focus on? If you focus on your fear out here, you won't even take the first step. That's the important thing to grasp first. The next thing that I wanted to hit, and this is part of what I really couldn't get across in writing because it fires me up so much because I see this just cripple so many people, and that is whenever we talk about, and I'm going to use the words here, taking each step is a great pleasure, and then moving down, isn't faith always necessary when things get scary or unpleasant or difficult? If something is fun, we don't need faith, do we? Okay, the key points in all of that go down to just the core of how we operate as people, and that being the avoidance of pain or the gaining of pleasure. And the thing that we have to understand when we're talking about mountains, okay, metaphorical mountains, big things that we want to get done in our lives, things we want to accomplish, things of meaning, those things have to transcend pleasure and pain. Anything of real meaning in this life does transcend pleasure or pain. There are things that I might think are fun, that look fun, and I even want to do them, but I might not have ever done them before, therefore it would require belief for me to go do something fun. There are things in this life, in my own life, I'm sure in yours, that are incredibly unpleasant. That I don't enjoy them at all. They even might be a little bit scary. But I don't need any belief whatsoever to go forward in them because I know they're there. Just because I can move forward into something doesn't mean that it's going to be pleasant. Just because I believe in something doesn't mean that it's going to be pleasant or even fun in the moment. I'm thinking right now of clients of mine, Dr. Peggy Malone, who is a marathoner and a triathlete. And when I asked her, whenever you decided to participate, she's an Ironman completer. She's done the big one. What is it about that when you're thinking of what you've got to do to complete the Ironman, are you thinking about it being pleasant and fun? I mean, this is grueling training, grueling event, all of those things. And she says, of course not. No, I wasn't thinking of it being fun. I was thinking of it being something I wanted to do. It had a meaning to me. It was a deeper meaning. There was a reason behind wanting to do it. Okay, I'm thinking of Steve Wright and Jordan Reisner from the SCD diet. And, they both had amazing health journeys to get well. And, that was their mountain. That was a mountain for them to climb. And, asking them, when you're thinking about the dietary changes and the things you've got to do and the discipline you've got to have in your life, were you thinking of fun? Were you thinking of pleasant? Okay, were you thinking of gaining pleasure in that moment? It's not about that. More often than not, the things that are worthy in this life are not about fun and pleasure. They're about achievement and fulfillment and a directive of our purpose. I'm thinking of Jimmy Nelson, a Beachbody coach who has an amazing fitness journey, lost 100 pounds. I'm thinking of Charlotte Seams, who mother of 12, and she lost immeasurable amounts of weight and put herself in incredible shape. Both of them building amazing businesses. When they were thinking about the mountain in front of them, it wasn't about, ooh, is this going to be fun? Is every step going to be pleasurable? They knew it wasn't going to be. They knew there was going to be pain involved on various levels, but they did it anyway because it was something meaningful and purposeful to them. Okay, can we avoid pain and gain pleasure in this life? Absolutely. Happens all the time. but it cannot be the deciding factor of what it is we're going to do. Okay? Gaining pleasure and avoiding pain can still be here, but there has to be a purpose that is transcendent, that is more important than pain or pleasure, that exists at the same time. Pain and pleasure are temporal. Okay? They happen, they're gone. They happen, they're gone. Okay? The only reason we keep pain longer is because we decide to dwell on it longer in most cases. But they are little steps. They are things that just happen in the course of fulfilling this bigger purpose, this thing that really matters in this world. Okay, and that's why pain and pleasure cannot be the deciding factors in what it is we do in our lives for anything that are meaningful. Okay, that's why there has to be something deeper. And finally, to go from bottom to top, back up to the question that really stuck this comment in my mind, because it's a pain that so many people go through. I mean, going into this is not a judgment on the person that wrote it. I'm so thankful that they did, because there's so many people that won't express what was going on in this person's heart. And I'm so thankful that they trusted me to put this out there in a comment publicly on the blog to say, look, I don't get this. This is pain. And the thing was, if they don't believe they can make it to the top, why bother to even take the first step? And that just rents my heart, because I've lived that. I know that feeling. And why do we bother to take the first step? Because this is life. This is that one irreplaceable, immeasurable, amazing thing that we get the opportunity to do whatever it is we choose to with. That's why we bother to take the first step. There's no guarantee of getting to the top. There's no guarantee of getting to step number 2. But you better be doing something to take step number 1. Standing still is not an option. Okay, in this world, apathy is not an option. Indifference is not an option. We have to care about ourselves. We have to care about others. We have to exude love and light and power in all of the things that we do. This is life. That's why we bother to take the first step. We were fearfully and wonderfully made not to try to sit neutral, but to gut it out and to go for it and to be spent in a worthy cause, to be fulfilled. We were never guaranteed happiness. We were never guaranteed fun. Though I promise you there's a whole lot more of both in the pursuit of something meaningful, in the pursuit of something purposeful in your life, than there is in just trying to gain pleasure and avoid pain. I just want to encourage you, look deep inside of you. If you've got a mountain in front of you, something you want to tackle, something that's meaningful to you in your life, and it scares the heck out of you, good. That's a good sign. It's probably something very meaningful to you. Look at step number 1. Okay, don't worry about all the rest of it. You can map out a plan, that's fine, but you still got to go one step at a time. What's your next step? If you don't even know if you've got a mountain, search deep inside of you. Go where I go, straight to my face in prayer. God, what is it that you want for me in my life? And just open yourself up to the answers. I promise you something is there. And then start worrying about the first step. All right, I love you. I care about you. I want you to truly understand this and then wring as much as you can out of this life. I'm going to do it for me. I'd love to help you do the same. Thank you for being here. I look forward to your comments about this and hearing your thoughts as far as where we need to take our lives next. This is PJ McClure. Be your best.